Namaste everyone. Today is Naturalecoliving Group 68th webinar, and today's topic is biosalt or fermented salt, biosalt making and why it's using in our daily life by Shailender Sga, Fermentation Expert. And we had a multiple webinars from Shailender Sga, both meetups and as well as webinar, and also Shailender Sga at present time doesn't need any introduction about himself. His work got evolved into cleaners, vinegars, and bioenzymes and probiotics. So in that process, we already familiar with this way of teaching and way of how to lead a chemical-free life through using bioenzymes or ecoenzymes. Now, as a next step, the biosalt also can be used for fermenting, using fermentation. And how it is going to be, how to use, the agenda, why, what it is, why to use, for whom we have to use, when to use, where to use, and how to prepare. Today we'll be having this discussion about salt. With this, I'll invite Shailender Sga to take over. Yeah, Shailender Sga. Please unmute yourself and start.
Yeah. So I would like to know, I think there is a facility to vote. How many of people over here know about biosalt or anyone making biosalt?
Yeah, couple of people raised their hands. Yeah, please raise your hands if you are making biosalt already, or using it, or aware of that. Yeah, hands are rising.
Okay, good. So how many people are making?
One hand. Okay, that means all are new.
Okay, fine. So namaste all, Hari Om. So today we'll be knowing about salt, which is very important substitute in our food. So basically, do we require salt? Why do we require salt? Is it just for taste, or is it adding any value to us? Can we avoid salt? Any answers?
Don't know, no idea.
Okay. So 99% we can't eat our food without salt. So basically salt makes taste in our food. So everyone knows about it. But why most of the naturopaths prefer, some of the naturopaths prefer not to use salt? Percent we can't eat our food without salt. Anyone?
No, all are mute. So.
Achcha, I wanted to do some interaction for a while. Then I will come into the topic.
Okay, then I will unmute all people, members. Whoever wants to talk, unmute yourself and talk.
So do we need salt? Yes. Okay.
So without salt, it doesn't taste good, and we need some minerals. And then, I mean, without salt, is that the food is
We
not.
can't even put in our mouth.
Yes, exactly. And even we need minerals too.
That is very important. We need minerals. Yes. Habituation. Yes, we are habituated with salt. But if you go for naturopathy treatments, some of the naturopathy treatments, they completely avoid salt.
Yes, that makes naturopathy as a low priority or low.
Yeah. So we need minerals for our body, that we know. So we are trying to get minerals. Okay, what are the sources of minerals for our food?
One is water,
Water, yeah.
then the fresh fruits, vegetables,
Yeah, fresh fruits, vegetables.
and I'm unmuting. I'm unmuting all. So, Shailender Sga, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah.
So minerals are important for us, and we do get from the plants or fruits and grains what we eat. But I think they are not sufficient.
Not sufficient. So if suppose we get minerals from the water, water should be tasty. The problem is we are having RO water, which is lacking
Exactly.
all the minerals. And the food is lacking minerals, the fruits and vegetables is lacking minerals because we have depleted the soil. Or else if you got a chance to eat a vegetable or a fruit which is grown in a diversified environment, then definitely it will be very tasty. That is a taste of the mineral. So that's how you are supposed to get. But unfortunately we are not getting that mineral composition in our food. So basically we have started depending on the salt
Externally.
externally.
Hmm.
So screen share please.
Yeah.
So now we are talking about biosalt. So yeah, as such, we need salt. Basically, we need minerals. When we say we need salt, we need minerals. When the food has those minerals, automatically it will be tasty. So we need not have any external salt if the food is very tasty. That is our natural food. So basically, we are meant to eat fruits and vegetables and some greens and few vegetables, not all vegetables. So which we can obtain. Next slide, please.
Mm-hmm.
So through which we can obtain these minerals for our body. So basically, if you see, minerals help in various ways in our body. It will maintain the pH balance. It will regulate the um, hormonal levels. It will regulate blood sugars. It will um, help to keep the intestinal like cellular fluids in balance, maintains the bone density. So these all are very essential, like minerals are essential to maintain this all things. But unfortunately we are not getting those minerals from the natural food because we are first of all not eating that natural food, and even if you consume, we are not getting that minerals from that food because we have depleted our soil. Next. So basically, we get nutrients from the vegetables or fruits, which are basically the source from the plants. How do the nutrients get? Like how does the plant get its nutrients? Basically, if you see in a forest, there is no one tree. In the nature, there is no one species. There are many species in the nature. So in that, trees, shrubs, weeds, animals, insects, microbes, birds, and other beings, including us. So they live in symbiotic relationship. They exchange each other. So every plant absorbs nutrients through the cosmos through photosynthesis. So they obtain nutrients for which they are tuned to. They can't take all the nutrients from the atmosphere, and whatever they have obtained, the excess will be shared to the other neighboring plants through the fungal colony called mycelium fungi. That's how they exchange between each other, and in that process, there'll be leaf litter, there'll be weeds which will be eaten by cattle, and the leaf litter will be turned into humus, and it will be turned into soil by different microbial species and different worms and insects. And in that process, the cattle dung will be also converted into nutrients to the soil, and that's how it will form minerals in that humus, and that will be supplied to the other trees, and it will be shared among each other. And if you have that diversity, then that vegetable or fruit will be very tasty. Even if you eat one fruit, you feel that contentment. So next. So unfortunately, we don't have that cycle. So you hope if you had a chance to eat that fruit or vegetables which was grown in that environment, then you can feel that taste. So basically, we get that taste when there is a system where all these species are interconnected. Next. So basically, we are depending on the salt from the external sources. Like first is the natural source from the fruits and vegetables, which are bioavailable for us. But the other sources which we are depending on is Himalayan rock salt, which is very popular nowadays, or else it was only used in medicines called as Santanamak or Saindava. Otherwise, sea salt, which is very popular since many years, unrefined sea salt. Uh, Most of the seas were pure those days, and the water was dehydrated, and salts were accumulated. But since few years, we are getting the stable salt, so which is actually produced from heating the crude oil in very high temperatures. Basically, the table salt is a byproduct of industrial process. So while extracting petrol, diesel, and many other compounds like polyester, polyurethane, polythene, and other products from the crude oil, so one byproduct is salt. So that is a petroleum product. So all the, like, you may also see most of the ingredients, they mention it as mineral oil. Mineral oil is not something which is healthy for us. That mineral oils are obtained from the crude oil extraction, and this mineral oil is used in adulterating of refined oils, refining of various cold press refining of oils, like whatever oils you extract from sesame or peanuts or some other things, they add mineral oil. So it is not at all suitable for us. Next. So what is the problem incurred with the minerals in the food? As I told, we have depleted the soils, so we are not getting those mineral contents from the fruits and vegetables. Either you grow your own food or depend on organic food. But here, organic food can be chemical free, but not nutrient rich unless and until you grow your trees in a way there are diversity. If you don't grow in a diversity, or if you're growing a mango orchard organically, you may have to add lot of organic inputs, and there is not much fertility in the soil. It may be chemical free. To manage the pest and all, you may be adding lot of organic inputs, but it will not be natural. You can't say it as natural. So natural food means when there is lot of diversity, when there is lot of ecosystem involved, then that food is natural and it will be mineral rich. So grains are processed, at least the grains, if you see the whole millets or brown rice or white rice, like red rice or black rice, whole grains, they have these mineral contents. But we process them a lot, and we deplete lot of minerals and other nutrient values. And of course, cooking also denatures the nutrient values. So that's the reason the cooked food is not tasty. We have to add lot of spices and salt into it. We also get minerals from spices. So I have not mentioned in these slides, but apart from fruits, vegetables, and greens, we get mineral contents from the spices also. So which normally brings the taste in the food. Next. So poisons in table salt. So most of the people may be using table salt. Oh, I don't want to name any brand here, but you know what is the table salt. So all the branded salts.
Yes,
So the branded salt here, as I told, it's a process of extracting, like it's a byproduct of extracting the crude oil in 1200 Fahrenheit. You get this table salt. And now since you are heating in the temperature, you are losing all the other trace minerals also. Though they are inorganic, you are losing them, and it will leave lot of sodium and chlorine in that compound. So too much of sodium consumption is not healthy, and they add lot of chemicals for bleaching the salt, and they add lot of anti-caking agents to make it free flow, which is again aluminium compounds, which leads to Alzheimer's disease. And they add lot of because it is getting depleted in iodine, and since if we lack in iodine, we get many thyroid issues and other imbalances in the body. So they add synthetic mineral like iodine, which is synthetic again, which is again not suitable for us. It can't be absorbed in the body. So that is the problem with the table salt. So do you still want to use the table salt? It's up to you. Now, next. So now natural salts. So what are the sources of other natural salts? As I told, Himalayan rock salt or sea salt. So earlier days, we were using Himalayan rock salt and sea salt. But in my inquiry, after developing this biosalt, in my inquiry, I came to know that people were using salt in liquid form. They were not aware how they were using it, but they were using salt in liquid form. And if you type soul salt in Google, you will find some recipes. They just add water into the Himalayan rock salt and then just keep it aside till it dissolves. So they use that liquid salt. Basically, all these natural salts, though they are obtained from natural sources, from seas or rock belt, they are still inorganic. So to bring the life into it, maybe they add water in it and keep it in a liquid form. Because when you add water into some material, it will attract the life, because microbes can attract if you see in sea water, there are microbial activity in the sea also. Though it is very salty, there is life in the salty water. So there should be some life. So for that reason, they may be adding water in the salt, and they used to add that salt liquid salt in their cooking. So if you type soul salt, you will find. And moreover, during those times, the seas were purer. They used to just dehydrate the water. They were backwaters. So they used to just dehydrate the water and obtain the sea salt, which is never white. Basically, nowadays, they use a lot of bleaching agents to make it white, crystal white. So any unrefined salt will be little brownish, light, palish in color. Uh, that's how unrefined salt is. So it also carries some impurities. So any unrefined salt will carry impurities, because not all minerals are suitable for us. There are some complex minerals also, basically in because they are not bioavailable form. So they used to heat the salt in moringa leaf. That was a traditional practice in some places. They used to heat the salt in moringa leaf till it gets black, and then they rub it, and then they winnow it. They remove all the carbon matter, and that's how they used to preserve the salt and again use it. So that was one purification method which traditionally people were doing. I have not mentioned in the slide, but I'm just mentioning here. So other way is they were using Himalayan rock salt. Maybe it is purer source, but if you are digging deep into the deep layers, you tend to get sand into the salt. So most of the pink salts have sand into it, like, which is not soluble for us, which is not digestible for us. And moreover, if you are mining the Himalayan rock salt, slowly there is an chance for imbalance in the earth, and that leads to earthquakes. And we have like we have been adding a lot of impurities in the rivers and the seas and oceans. So all these impurities, all the chemical residues we are using for our dishwash or floor cleaner or toilet cleaner or your soaps or shampoos, all these chemicals are mixing in your seas and oceans, and that is again coming back when you eat a fish or when you eat your salt from the sea or whatever you are getting from the sea. So one has to think about it. And other thing is, as I said about impurities, and what else I huh. Now adulteration is possible to any extent. So nowadays people are adding pink color and to the table salt and selling it as Himalayan rock salt. So I have come across some salt like that. So one has to be very careful. Yeah, next. So what is the effect on health when you are using any inorganic salt? It may be Himalayan rock salt, or it may be sea salt, purified form, or it may be table salt. Okay, compared to table salt, your Himalayan rock salt and unrefined sea salt is better if you are balancing your body with microbial activity. If you are eating healthy, fresh fruits and salads, or having some probiotics in your food, you have your beneficial gut in your stomach, and that will help to break down these inorganic salt. But in case you're not having probiotics, or you're not having fruits and salads, then in that case your body has to struggle a lot to break down these inorganic salts. So what does it lead to? So when you're not having proper minerals in your body, whatever problems your body gets, if you're not having minerals, those all problems you have to face. Like it will be a hormonal imbalance, it may be knee pain or swelling in the body, accumulation of these toxins in the kidneys, and that leads to high pressure, high blood pressure, that leads to heart diseases, that leads to muscle cramps, and that leads to mucus accumulation in the body because of the acidic properties. So everything is interrelated. So now it's very important, we need bioavailable minerals for our body. Next. Now what is biosalt? So biosalt is a bioavailable form of inorganic natural salts. So this was introduced by me through my instincts, based on the concept of takrarishta in Ayurveda. So I was always thinking about salt, like when we can't avoid salt, like as many naturopaths advocate not to have salt. Yeah, it's very good if you are having fruits and vegetables, but it's very difficult for a person to adopt that lifestyle or to obtain that fruits and vegetables. Now I was researching on many things. In that part I was thinking about salt also. Then I was trying to understand, since I know the concept of takrarishta in Ayurveda, which was made by preparing by adding 5 types of salts in buttermilk, and they make arishta of it. So that was administered for people who have chronic ailments. It will boost up the mineral contents in the body, that will heal the person very fast. So, but unfortunately, no one is making takrarishta properly, because these have to be made in a ceramic containers or glass containers, and should be stored in glass bottles, and supplied in glass bottles. But there are some products in the market which is stored in plastic bottle, which is not at all advisable, because you can't store salt in plastic bottle. It will leach, and especially if it is in liquid form, definitely it will leach. The plastic will leach into the liquid, so that is not at all safe. So I know this concept of takarishta. So based on that, I don't advocate dairy. Most of the people know, because earlier days the dairy situation was different, but nowadays the cattle are not treated well. Though we are not meant to consume any dairy products, because your mother will not give milk for you after a certain age. Earlier they were giving milk up to 5 years. Nowadays they are not even giving for 6 months or hardly 1 year. So when mother itself stops giving milk for the children, why should we have milk after that? And also cattle will give milk for the baby, its calf. So it will also give milk for its calf up to 1 year. And every mother, if you see in the mother's milk, there'll be hormones suitable for the baby. So they are growth hormones. So if you have a male child, hormones will be different. If you have a female child, hormones will be different based on the child. So if you're having animal milk, so the hormones which are suitable for the calf, when you consume, that will be a toxin for you. And for that reason, most of the people are getting diabetes, hypertension, asthma, and other problems. One reason is milk. For that reason, okay, if you boil the milk on the slow flame for 8 hours, that's how traditionally people were doing. And the cattle were open grazing, and it used to get all the nutrients from diversified grass varieties. So it was healthy and no antibiotics was administered to it. But nowadays, since it is not getting proper food, it will become sick. And you're not keeping cow for your region. You are getting, it may be desi cow, but it is, you are getting cows from other regions which is not suitable for this region, for the local region. And that's how it gets sick, and you tend to give antibiotics to it, and those all things will mix up in your milk. So in spite of that, adulteration in milk and other things, I'm not going detail. But yeah, so what's the alternative of buttermilk now? So for that reason, everyone, most of you may be knowing about rice kanji, which is very popular everywhere, uh, even in other countries. It's called as rice beer, so fermented rice. So this is fermented rice starch. So this is a very nice probiotic which has lactic acid bacteria. So whatever I am doing is lacto fermentation method. So I use lactic acid bacteria to help to break down the minerals in that salt, which are inorganic, and make them bioavailable. So I need some medium for the microbes to survive. So this is starch made from rice, which has uh, sugars in it. Basically, microbes have some food. So while breaking this, it will also convert the minerals in the salt and make them bioavailable. So it's very simple. So you need some medium. But some people will not prefer rice or grains, especially for people who are fasting, they don't have grains. Uh, People who are in vrata or upavasa, they don't have grains. But they do have some other steamed vegetables and all, they add salt into it. Then I was thinking, so what is the solution for them? Then I came up with okras. Okras is a very nice vegetable which has a resistant starch, and it's soluble. It is a soluble starch. You can see a slime in this okra. So this has a starch. So then I thought of this starch. So okra slime as such is very beneficial for various health issues. So then I thought of this slime, and then using this as a medium to mix my salt. Next. So we'll go into the procedure, but we'll see the benefits of using biosalt. So basically, when you use biosalt, it will enhance the taste. So normally the taste in the food will come from the salt. Since the salt is not absorbed into the food, because we need bioavailable salt, uh, so that food is not that tasty. But when you make it bioavailable and add it into your food, it will enhance the taste of the food. So you can try it. People who have done it, they have come up with all these observations. And definitely it will reduce the salt consumption, because if you are having right amount of salts in your body, you need not tend to have more salt. So having little salt will be enough. Then helps to separate impurities. Yeah. As I said, salt has impurities when if it is not properly processed. The sea salt and even Himalayan rock salt also has some impurities. So when you make it in liquid form, you have to filter in a cloth, so that will separate the impurities. That is an additional benefit. Then when we are using this bioavailable form of naturally occurring minerals, then it will overcome many health issues. Like it will regulate your pH, it will regulate your adrenal system, it will regulate your thyroid issues, it will help in digestive system, and various things. So we need this bioavailable minerals. Next. So uses. So where all you can use. So this biosalt can be replaced everywhere wherever you are using salt, and you can add this biosalt in your cooking before or after, but preferably if you add this biosalt after cooking, like when it is warm, you can also preserve the food, preserve your dish for the next day, because the microbes, lactic acid bacteria, will preserve that food. It also helps in fermentation, making various probiotics and various fermented kvass, or which normally I make with the vegetables. So we'll talk in detail in some other session about probiotics and fermentation drinks. It can be used in your salads, for chutneys, as a salad dressing, in spreads. Wherever you are using salt, you can just replace this biosalt. But the quantity is, you can just add 2 to 3 times, because here instead of 1 spoon, you have to add 2 to 3 spoons of that liquid. And you can also use this biosalt in pre-soaking of grains, which will minimize the anti-nutrients. I'll talk about anti-nutrients in a while, because it is very important, and also it will reduce the cooking time. So now how to make it, we will see. Next. So how to make this biosalt? So to make the biosalt, we need either okra slime or fermented rice starch. So this is fermented rice starch, this is okra slime. So we need to filter in a cloth. So it's very important. So it should be unbleached fabric. It should be cotton fabric, unbleached fabric. So preferably have a little bit thicker fabric like this, so that if there are any impurities, okay, you can use a muslin cloth, but most of the muslin cloths are bleached. So prefer some unbleached fabric. Okay. Then just take some container, preferably ceramic container. But normally, if you are adding salt in steel container, you should not keep it for long time. If you are immediately transferring into some other container like glass or ceramic, then it's fine. But if you are using steel containers, you can keep it only for a shorter time. So now to make okra slime, you need okras, maybe around 10 okras in half-liter water, like this. You can just arrange them. So you have to slit the okras. If you see the next slide, you can see like how we have slit the okra. So the okras are slit vertically in between. That's it. So just slit the okra and arrange in a bottle like this, compact, and fill the okras with water. Like actually the okras should submerge. If they don't submerge inside water, you can see it will discolor. So here I just kept one okra. It has got discolored. This is fine still, but sometimes if you don't take care, there is a chance of other pathogenic bacteria. So always prefer a little bigger container and submerge the okras inside the water, and cover a cloth and keep a lid loose. So this is not airtight container. So basically this container is not airtight. There is little bit air inside. So I just soaked yesterday night. So if you are new to it, better to separate this okra slime after 12 hours in the first round. Then you can use the same okras again. You collect that water in a container. So I use a cloth because you should not allow the seeds or the fiber to get into it. So I just keep a cloth and I filter the slime.
Shailender, we are not able to see.
Yeah. Just a minute. So I just kept a mesh. I covered a cloth on the mesh. So this is the container. I kept a mesh and a cloth. I just poured my okra slime, which is there inside. See the slime? It's not like it's slimy. It's not like watery. It's thick.
Yeah. So you soaked it yesterday night, and now after 24 hours, you are filtering it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but for people who are doing it for the first time, they can separate that water after 12 hours and then again refill the water. Because I'm comfortable, you can also, not a problem. If you just submerge the water, okras inside the water and keep it covered with a cloth and keep the lid, it will not be a problem. So if you take care properly. So now this slime I have just took into this container. Because I'm using cloth, there are some microfibers in the okra slime. I'm just trying to avoid them. So this is a slime I have obtained. Now take a glass bottle. So preferably it should be airtight bottle. And always check the smell of the bottle, because you don't know what you have stored in the bottle. So you have to check the smell. So when you wash your bottle, use natural soaps preferably, or add some hot water to it, shake it well and rinse it, and keep under sun. Sun is the best source for sterilizing in all your contents. So keep it in the sun, it will get sterilized. Then when it is dry, see that cap also, normally these caps will catch some content. So you have to clean the inside part also, because most of the contents will get spoiled if there are any impurities. So we have to sterilize your container. Sterilizing the container is very important. Then in the sterilized container, add your slime. So now the water should be dechlorinated water. To make dechlorinated water, either keep the water under sun for 3 hours, especially municipal water, it gets chlorinated. They add chlorine. So if you keep the water under sun for 3 hours, it gets dechlorinated. Or use Rama water filter, which has ceramic and activated charcoal cartridge combined. It's a combo cartridge. So if you get some cartridges like that, it will also help to eradicate the chlorine. It will remove the chlorine. Or you can see my video on water purification. I keep the water for 24 hours under sun and moon. I basically charge the water gets structured, and I use Nirmali seed. It's called as Chella Ginjalu in Telugu. So, and I add a turmeric root, and I keep the water for 24 hours under sun and moon, covered with a cloth or a mesh. And I fix a tap for the container, steel container, little above from the base, so that the sediments will settle down. There'll be a clear water in the middle. Dust may be accumulating on the top. So that water is dechlorinated and structured and charged by the cosmos. So I use that water for consumption. By using that, you get taste of the spring water, and I use for fermentation and for drinking and for cooking also. So now for 1 liter of okra slime, preferably you have to add 200 to 250 grams. Now this is 300 ml. Okay. So for 300 ml, ideally I have to use by 5. So 60 grams of salt would be enough. So initially you can go for measurements, but if you are comfortable with the ratios, you can add, and if there is any residue remaining, no problems. You can filter that and use that residue for the next batch. You can just mix that salt. So basically you should saturate that liquid. So now I'm taking around 60 grams of salt. So this is Himalayan rock salt I'm using. You can either use unrefined sea salt, so which is obtained from some regions, especially in Konkan areas. Gokarna salt is very famous, and you can get also from Andhra side unrefined sea salt. So now you have to just add this salt in the water. So to add this, it will be difficult. So I'll dilute the salt with this liquid only. I'll stir it and add back that into the bottle. Or you can mix that in a container and then transfer it into the bottle. Now to mix it, it will take little time. So what I do is, instead of mixing with the spoon or mixing with the hand, I shake it. I just add all the content and then I shake it. So if you shake it, it will homogeneously mix completely into the slime. And once it gets mixed, it should not leave any residue. So if at all it is leaving residue, it will take little time. So if at all it is leaving residue, then it is saturated. If it is not leaving any residue, then you have to add more salt, then shake it. So ideally for 1 liter salt, you have to add 200 to 250 grams of, for 1 liter slime or for 1 liter fermented rice starch, you have to add 200 to 250 grams of unrefined salt, sea salt or Himalayan rock salt. So once you shake it, you have to keep it airtight, but remember, you have to clean this inside part. This inside part should be always dry, because these containers have a lid which is metal and inside there will be a plastic. So when water accumulates, especially the salts accumulates, it will corrode. It will eat away this plastic lining and it will form rust. So you have to be careful. This inside part should be dry. You have to wipe and keep the lid back. So in between, sometimes vapors, because of vapors, there will be some wetness. So once in a while, if you observe and keep this dry, then you are safe. Then this salt will not get contaminated. So it should not be kept under direct sunlight or in the place where there is heat. So you can keep this little bit away from the gas stove in the kitchen. So you have to keep this for 7 days. So once you keep this for 7 days, it will be ready and then you can start using it. So after 7 days, it will turn little brownie. So this salt, it may be little lighter. So after fermentation for 7 days, it will leave this shade. And suppose if you are using pink salt, Himalayan, like completely, like there are some range of salts which is very pink. So this liquid will turn little more pink. The one which I am using is light color. Like it is Himalayan rock salt only, but it is not pink crystals. So it is very mild pink. You can also make this salt with what you call this kala namak. No, but it should not be used on a regular basis in your food. Kala namak can be used occasionally as a seasoning in your salads and all, but kala namak should not be used regularly. That is very important. So once you make this, store it for 7 days and then start using this. So this is about okra slime. The same thing you can make with rice starch. So just you have to take the rice starch. For fermenting rice starch, you have to add chili crowns or fenugreek seeds and leave it for 24 hours. Then it will become sour. So you have to filter it, because you should not add fenugreek seeds or chili crowns into the salt. So filter it and add into your bottle, and add the salt and shake it well and keep it. So the starch may be this. I have taken thick starch. It can be little diluted also. Normally, we don't have a habit of cooking rice in an open pot. It's very important to cook your grains in an open pot, because the starches are very complex. We can't digest that starches, or the body has to work extra to digest that salt, starch. So when you cook in excess water and separate that starches and ferment that starch and consume that, that will be easy for your body to absorb those sugars. And if it is brown rice, you will get all the B vitamins, and especially the whole grains will have anti-nutrients. In fermentation, they get converted into beneficial minerals. So for that reason, you have to cook in an open pot and consume that starch as a probiotic. It may be millet starch or rice starch. There is one more method I keep telling about, jaggery arista and jaggery culture. So in this rice starch, if you add jaggery culture, it will turn into rice enzyme like this. It will release lot of gases, and this will take at least 20 days to stabilize. It's not vinegar, it is arista, basically rice arista. So you can call it as rice enzyme as well. So once you make this rice arista, so this liquid part which is there floating, this you have to add into the fresh rice starch. So in this, if you add for 1 liter, if you add 10 to 20 ml, this will not become acidic. This rice enzyme will be little acidic, but this rice enzyme, the daughter rice enzyme, will be sour but not acidic, and it will be consumed. It can be consumed like your regular buttermilk, but it will be little sour than your buttermilk. So it's like little sour buttermilk, not very sour also. So this is suitable for making biosalt. Like if you are not, like if you want to make a best biosalt from rice starch, you can use this as a culture, because this has beneficial lactic acid bacteria, more stabilized. You can also get that lactic acid bacteria from chili crowns or okra tops or fenugreek seeds or even mustard. So to repeat, for making rice starch, you have to cook the rice in excess water. So for that, you have to soak the rice in equal quantity of water for 6 to 8 hours. If it is whole grain, if it is white rice, you can just soak it for half an hour to 1 hour. Then after that, you have to boil 3 to 4 times of water. Normally you add, for 1 ratio rice, you add 3 ratio, or if it is in pressure cooker, you add 2.5 ratio of water. But here you have to totally add 5 or 6 ratio of water. So 1 ratio for soaking along with the grain, and 3 or 4 ratio or more for boiling the water. So once you boil the water, you will be adding the soaked grain along with the water, and then once it gets cooked, you will separate the starch. So to ferment this starch, why we have to ferment this starch? Many people, they just throw the starch, but this has B vitamins, anti-nutrients, and also complex carbohydrates. If you consume this starch as it is without fermenting, it will again cause more problems. Like it is equivalent to eating your white rice or like brown rice, so which has complexities, and that causes diabetes and other health issues. So when you ferment this starch, the microbes will break down the anti-nutrients and convert it into bioavailable minerals. It will also enhance the B vitamins in that starch, and also break down the complex carbohydrates into simplified sugars. So this will be your probiotics. It has also life in it. So when you ferment the rice starch with chili grounds or okra slime or fenugreek seeds or mustard seeds, you can consume it. To make it tasty, you can add some nut milks also. You can add some spices like zira, curry patta, ginger. So you can make a nice drink that will be a very good probiotic drink, will be suitable for acidic reflexes, asthma, diabetes, indigestion problem, gut issues, and many other problems. So that is about fermented rice starch. So to make biosalt, you can use this fermented rice starch, or to make better efficiency, you can add jaggery culture into this rice starch, allow it to stabilize into arista, then use this arista. It will, for making arista, it will take 1 month. So you can follow my Telegram group for the documents for further making this. So for now, I'm concentrating on biosalt. So we need some fermented medium for the microbes to thrive upon. It needs some food and it has to make the minerals bioavailable. So I have taken these two options.
One is okra slime and another is the rice starch.
Yeah, rice starch or millet starch. So next slide, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was about okra slime, how to make okra slime. Then next is, yeah, how to make fermented rice or millet starches. So how to store? So this has to be stored in airtight container under shade, and you have to take care of this inside cap. Then the possibility, sometimes there is a possibility of spoilage when you don't keep it airtight. Airtight means if you tilt the container, it should not leak. Suppose this is container, if you reverse it, it should not leak. So that is airtight. So like this, it should not leak. So sometimes if you don't keep the cap tight, it may have some air gap. So pathogenic bacteria can easily enter into your content. So you have to select an airtight container. Just reverse and see if it is leaking or not. So that is a storage container information. And you can, this can be easily stored up to 1 year. And you need not use any refrigerator for storage, because if you are kept in the refrigerator, what will happen to you? You get chill and you get freezed. The same thing will happen with the food you keep in the refrigerator. We're not supposed to use refrigerator actually. But unfortunately, we have a habit of using refrigerator. Then all these traditional methods are basically to avoid refrigeration and to preserve the life in it, in your food, and get the nutrients. So, I have covered. Next. Yeah. So there are some questions. Normally, what questions I do get is, how can you ferment salt? When salt is used for preserving the vegetables or pickles, how then salt is getting fermented? Basically, I'm just following one thing here. I'm basically fermenting the okra slime or fermenting the rice starch. So in that process, so I have pre-fermented. Basically, okra slime has lactic acid bacteria already because I have soaked the okra in the water. The rice starch I have pre-fermented. So I have introduced already lactic acid bacteria in it. So now when I add this salt, so there are sugars, there are minerals with which the microbes will thrive upon. So in the process of breaking down this starches, it may be okra starch or rice starch, it will also make the minerals bioavailable. That is the logic, nothing more than that. So so it will also smell little pickly. So it will smell after 7 days. If you smell it, it will be little mild pickling. Then yeah, now I'm open to questions.
Yeah, so the first question is whom to use and whom not to use.
So this biosalt can be used by anyone. It is right from the kids to the adult or old age people. So if you are consuming fruits and vegetables, you need not even listen to this topic. I am on raw food since very long. In between, I was eating cooked food, but because of this lockdown opportunity, I took an opportunity and I'm completely on raw. But I have salads. So what I do is I have salads with pickled vegetables. I use this biosalt for fermenting my pickles. I make kimchi, sauerkraut. So if you can see all my fermentation stuff here. So I make many fermented stuffs. I research a lot on these. So I'm consuming little of these fermented vegetables to get the nutrients, because I'm not completely getting access for the naturally grown food. Though I get some organic fruits, uh, there are some missing nutrient values which I can observe. For that reason, I balance them with vegetables. And if I am cooking some vegetables, like carrot should not be eaten raw, beetroot should not be eaten raw, either ferment them or steam and mix with your salads. So that's how I balance. So everyone can consume this biosalt.
So what about the any patients, who have a thyroid issue or who have a cancer?
Definitely it will help them to
So,
overcome their thyroid issue. Especially if you are using this biosalt, you can overcome your thyroid issues, because you are using, first of all, Himalayan rock salt or unrefined sea salt, which has iodine as a trace mineral in it. But since it is bioavailable, in this process it will become bioavailable, and many people have overcome their thyroid issues and hormonal imbalances and pains, acidic reflexes and all.
okay. So another question is, so how you say you should take 7 days to ferment, right?
Yeah.
So in some cases, maybe due to monsoon or winter season,
Yeah,
there
so
is
it
chance
will
to.
take little, maybe 7 days more. So
Mm.
even then, even if you are in the colder regions, normally you take you make your curds right from the milk. So what you do, you basically keep a lukewarm in that, add the culture. So here what you can do is you can keep this container in a warm place, like in between grass and inside the cupboard. That will keep it warm and it will ferment well. Maybe it will take 7 more days.
Okay. So another question is, nowadays kidney problems are increasing more.
Yeah.
Many people are on dialysis, and compared to the last 10 years and another 10 years, the number of dialysis centers are becoming tenfold. Now,
Why?
yeah, now the question is, those people can have this biosalt?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, so it's very important question. I would like to answer about disease cycle,
Mhm.
uh, because if I just say yes, they don't get a depth of it. So basically, any disease in our body is body's detoxification process at various levels. All the diseases, the cause of all the diseases is toxin. And what are the toxins? Toxins are not just from the environment, not just from the pollution of the vehicles, not just from the pollution of industries, not just from the chemicals we use in the surrounding, like your floor cleaner, toilet cleaner, shampoo, soaps. Whatever soap you use for washing your utensil also has a chemical which is going inside your mouth, which is a toxin. So apart from this, the cooking methods, since we are not following the complex carbohydrates, as I mentioned, this will become a toxin. The anti-nutrients which are there in the grain, many people have started eating millets now. But if you're not processing well, if you're not soaking the millets and separating the starch and fermenting the starch and consuming the grain, then anti-nutrients will actually cause thyroid issue. It will cause constipation and other problems. So cooking method is very important. So or else that will become a toxin. Even if you are taking care of all these things, there are toxins which are generated when you suppress your emotions. So when you suppress your emotions, the endocrine glands will secrete some secretions. And if they are not handled well, if you're not doing yoga, meditation to balance your mind and thoughts, so all these secretions will deposits in the body, and these are toxins again. So other thing is metabolic waste. If the metabolic waste is not excreted out, or if you are overstressing your organs, overdoing your work, stressing the organs, having sedentary lifestyle, and no body movements, so this all toxins gets accumulated because there is a lymphatic system in your body which will push the toxins out and also supply the nutrients to all the cells. So ultimately the cell requires right nutrients, right potential nutrient, and it has to eliminate the toxins. So this is only two things which you have to consider. So if it is not getting right nutrients, or if the toxins are remaining in the body, then it will lead to disease. What will happen? So to clean up the toxin, normally liver and kidneys are very beautiful organs to push out the toxins. But you're overloading. Like when the organs are working to push the toxins, you're again eating, you're again keeping stress, or you're doing some mechanism where you're pushing the toxins again inside. So how can the organ clean those toxins if you're not allowing them to clean? So it's very important to give time for the organs also. So eating in right time, eating only when you are hungry, chewing well, there are many such things. And oils, if you're using refined oils, that will be a toxin. If you're heating the cold press oil, that will become a toxin. So cold press oil should not be heated. So there is a certain amount of temperature. If you heat the cold press oil beyond certain temperature, it will turn toxic. So to certain temperature, you lose the nutrients. But what's the point of heating the cold press oil? So you can use cold press oil as a seasoning in your recipes. You need not use any oil while cooking. Rather, you can use nut paste or nut butters or oils. If you want to use, you can season them. Like that, there are many toxins. Because there are toxins, there will be growth of pathogenic bacteria, or some yeast inside the body. So always there is yeast and microbial balance inside the body. If that balance disrupts, that leads to a disease. So what we diagnose is infection. But why the infection is there? Because of toxin. Because there is some toxicity in the body, the pathogenic bacteria is coming there to clean it up. We are seeing only that bacteria or some pathogen, but we are not seeing the underlying toxin beneath it. So try to understand, we have to eradicate the toxins from our body. So here, why the kidney dialysis is very major nowadays is because we are, one reason is salt, one reason is milk. Anything undigested in the body has to push out. When the body is doing that process, we are trying to regulate some other thing. Suppose kidney starts accumulating with some undigested mineral deposits in the body or some toxins it is trying to push out. So imagine your water filter. Your candles get clogged. If the water is more impure, the candles get clogged, and you have to clean that filter regularly. If you don't clean that filter, it will accumulate all the clog, and the filtration will not happen. So the same thing is happening with your kidneys. So all the deposits are accumulating, and for that reason, heart will help to increase the pressure, and it will help to push those accumulated things outside of that organ so that it will come back later in a slow pace. But what we are doing, when the heart pressure increases, we see that as a symptom, try to take some medication for controlling your blood pressure, and the toxins which are there in the kidneys are getting accumulated, or else the heart would have helped you. So it is getting accumulated, and that's how the organ is getting weaker, and that leads to organ failure, and that is causing you to have dialysis, because organ has now is not working now. So now you have to push the toxins out with some mechanism.
So in those
So
cases who have already have a dialysis patients, so what is the best way to use this salt? Just like a
yeah, just include this biosalt in your food. That's it.
okay. And another thing, once we make, you already detailedly covered about the making of the biosalt. Now, is there any expiry date for this salt?
Yeah, basically these fermentations will not get spoiled unless and until you don't take care of the storage conditions. So there is no expiry date as such. But what I recommend is make once in a month or once in 3 months, like that, according to your convenience. But easily they stay more than a year. Like I have my ferments which are more than 5 years also, so they are just stable.
Okay. So otherwise, do you suggest to have a make once and pour it to a small bottles whenever you want, so that every time you
Yes,
open, we
yeah,
don't require any
that
closing.
is also important. Normally, whenever you make something, don't open it very regularly. Even oils get oxidized. So the traditional practice of using oils or some fermented liquids like this is they store in a bigger container. So for regular use, they keep smaller containers like this. So use smaller container for your daily use, store in a big containers. So whenever you finish this, refill it back. So when you do this, you will not open this container very often. That's how you will preserve it well.
Mhm.
And same with oils also. So oil store, if you get 2 liter container, transfer it into like half-liter container and 200 ml container, so that for week you will use that 200 ml container, and for every week you will be refilling that small with this one, and this one will be refilled every month. That's how you have to maintain, because if you open very often, if you expose the content very often to the air, it gets oxidized.
Okay. And one more question is, you asked us to add salt and wait for till it saturate. So in some cases, it may give the visibility or it may not give. So any tip for that?
Yeah, visibility is clear. Normally, the salts get accumulated down. If there is excess of salt, if it's beyond saturation, definitely there is visibility. It may be rice starch, or if you even tilt it, you can see if there are any salt residues. It's very easy to see.
So in okra salam, it is easy to see. And
Even rice starch also, if you tilt that rice starch, you can see any deposits are there. You can just see it.
okay, okay.
It's easy.
So I still remember in when I was a child, I used to go to grocery shop and I used to buy salt. And when I go to a monsoon season, I see all this sticky and all the stuff. Even in Natural Ecoliving Group store, cooperative store, we bought the salt. Due to continuous rains, it got moisture and it got leaking. So my family members saying, "Okay, see, this is the biosalt. Why can't we collect?" So is that natural way, like due to monsoon, the salt will attract the moisture and it start
Yes.
melting. So can we use that kind of salt as well as a biosalt?
See, if it is basically when the salts attracts moisture, it will leach. So it will lose the mineral contents of it.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use it, but you will not have complete nutrient mineral contents in it.
Okay. So another question here is how to use this biosalt in case anyone has hormonal imbalance.
You just use this biosalt, replace it with your regular salt. Like see, I have added for 1 liter okra slime, I have added around 200 grams of salt. It's basically 1:5 ratio approximately.
Mhm.
So instead of 1 spoon of salt, you might have to add 5 spoons of liquid, ideally, if you go along with the ratio. But since it is bioavailable form, you need not add 5 spoons of liquid. Only 2 or maximum 3 spoons of liquid would be enough. So you have to just see the taste. Sometimes, like after adding 1 spoon or 2 spoons, just taste it. If required, add one more spoon. That's how you can caliber. Once you caliber, you will be comfortable next time. And for any issues, it may be hormonal imbalance or any of the health issues where you need minerals. When you start using it, automatically that will be enough. That will balance your hormonal imbalance or thyroid issues and all. But it will take time. It will not just happen in a day.
Okay. So
You can
making
see the difference within
okay.
a week or a month.
Okay. So making biosalt with okra slime seems to be easy for beginners, especially. And so, is there any measurement, like how many okra slices we need to add for 1 liter bottle?
So for 1 liter bottle, like suppose now I have added around 10 okras for this 300 ml liquid. So I will refill this again with water 3 times. I'll get more slime. That would be enough for making 1 liter of okra slime. So normally I make with half kg okras, I make around 10 liters of biosalt.
Okay, that means once you fill, you remove the slime. Again, you fill the water.
Again, I add water.
And remove the
Again,
slime.
I keep it for now. Second time, you will not keep for long time. So even for 3 hours, you will get the slime. And third time, within 1 hour, you can get that slime.
Okay. So total 12 times you can harvest. I mean, we can
Three
reuse?
times. Three times.
Okay.
3 times.
Okay. Now coming to the cooking part. So whether this biosalt to be added in the beginning or at the end of the cooking?
Yeah.
No.
So if you are adding in the beginning, because of heat, you will not get the benefit of the microbial activity. So normally the lactic acid bacteria, there are many microbial activity in the food. Basically, when you are cooking the food, the life in the food will reduce. But unfortunately, we can't eat without cooking. So for that reason, after cooking, when it is warm, like around 60 degrees, when you add this biosalt, the lactic acid bacteria can thrive in that temperature and it will preserve your food. Even if you add while cooking, no harm. You get the benefit of it, but the microbial activity will not be there. That's the additional benefit which you get if you add after the cooking.
Okay. So the while preparation, one more question is I took the okra slime and it is airtight. And before making it is airtight, we need to cover with a cloth. That means on the glass bottle there is a cloth, and again I'm tightening it with a cap.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Actually, yeah, that is correct. But if the container is proper, you need not even keep the cloth. So it depends on your container. So if preferably our traditional pickles were stored by covering a cloth, because cloth acts like an absorbent. It will not allow the pathogenic bacteria to go in. So better to add a cloth.
So cloth means here the khadi cloth.
Cotton cloth, yeah. It should
Khadi.
be a unbleached cotton cloth.
Khadi.
Khadi, yeah.
So now the salt we need to use is, you clearly told not to use any table salt.
Yeah.
And we can use the sea salt, unrefined sea salt, or Himalayan.
We can't use, basically that's the problem when we are using unrefined salt for making biosalt or
Yes.
for a regular use.
For making biosalt.
For making biosalt, we can't use table salt or iodized salt.
Yeah, or the packet processed industrialized salt we can't use.
No branded salts.
Okay.
So it should be unrefined sea salt or Himalayan rock salt. Okay. So some people made with iodized salt. So the biosalt turned blue color.
Oh, that is the indication to check whether the salt has a iodation or not.
Yeah, basically iodine will not absorb. Like basically the iodine which they are adding is synthetic iodine.
Okay.
Which will not be helpful for our body.
Okay. So one more question is, can we use moringa purified salt instead of Himalayan salt?
So traditionally they used to add moringa leaves, and then they used to heat the salt in that pan. Once it turns black, then they used to rub that carbon matter, and then they will sieve it. That's how the salt was purified in olden days.
Can you repeat once again?
They used to add moringa leaves in the iron kadai.
Okay.
Then they used to add the salt and heat it. Okay. So the leaves will turn black.
Okay.
So once the leaves turns black, they will rub it, and then they will sieve that salt, and then they used to store that salt.
Okay. So another thing is, nowadays, even if you take a sea salt unrefined, it comes with a lot of dirt and seashells and all the stuff. Any tip to clean it? Maybe we can dilute it and make it water.
Yeah, that's what I told. Now, when you are using a cloth, double layer cloth, it gets filtered.
Okay. Got it.
That's what unrefined sea salt should be obtained from a cleaner sources. So
But
Gokarna salt, I have seen it's very clean. In Andhra side, I don't know how to. I'm still searching. There should be some places.
okay. So now coming to your generic question, being a vegetarian and a less salt consumption is advised or not?
See, we need minerals. If you are getting those minerals from fruits and vegetables, you need not worry about it.
Hmm.
So if you're on raw food or cooked food or whatever, basically you have to get nutrients for your body. I didn't
So
get your question.
no,
Being a
basically,
vegetarian,
taking less salt consumption is advisable or not?
that's what I'm telling you. You have to have enough sufficient amount of
No,
minerals.
being a common man, how one know whether I'm getting a sufficient minerals or not?
Oh, by taste, like when you are eating, your body should accept.
Okay.
But the problem here is the body got habituated with the wrong food, and
Mhm.
that's how we are getting addicted to that wrong cravings. So just replace with the right method, then the body will realign with the right method, and that's how it can caliber. Like it can judge now.
Okay. Okay. So another question about the biosalt. Once we make a biosalt, so can we filter it again? Because
Yeah, there are chances of some residues, accumulation of some residues. You can again filter and store it.
or while using, we can filter it and use it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in Ayurveda, people with psoriasis are advised not to consume any sour food. So people those can consume this.
This will not be sour. We are using fermentation technique for making it bioavailable.
Okay.
So even my fermented stuff which I make, they are not sour. I make use like they'll be mild sour. So I don't eat that sour vegetable alone. I mix with other combination. Little bit I add into the other combination. So you're not completely eating sour food. That is not a problem. Basically, you are giving minerals, bioavailable minerals.
Okay. Now making of bioenzyme with rice starch. So here rice means you are referring to paddy rice or millet rice, etc. Right?
Yeah,
Now how about millet rava?
yeah. It can be anything. The starch from it.
Okay.
It can be any grain. Basically, you have to extract that starch.
Okay. So nowadays, I mean, though we tell many times not to use pressure cooker to cook rice. So the question here is, while preparing rice using pressure cooker, when to add the salt? Is it okay if you add that at the beginning?
Regular salt.
No, no, biosalt.
See, that's what I'm not advocating pressure cooker here.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can add the biosalt in the beginning also.
No harm.
No harm. Actually, no harm, but you will not get the benefit of that completely.
Okay. Okay.
So one has to avoid pressure cooker. If you want to be healthy, you have to keep the pressure cooker in a showcase to show your younger generation that we got our health problems because we were using this pressure cooker. So in the following future generation, that will be a showcase piece, and you have to bring all your stored brass containers or mud containers which you have locked up, bring them and start using them.
Good. Okay. So I think we covered almost all the questions about the biosalt and using rice starch. Yeah. So those who have questions or doubts, we are going to share this video in the NELG groups and other groups as well. Or you can go to YouTube and you can search for the detailed discussions. We are also going to share the document. And yeah, one more question is, I eat fermented vegetables in the form of sauerkraut and kimchi as well as komcha. What is your advice on that?
Yeah, it's very good, but don't eat the vegetable like only sarkat alone. I just share some pictures. You will have an idea how to consume your sarkat or kimchi.
Yeah, Shailender Sga, we lost your video.
Oh, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Okay. How to share my screen?
1 second. Let me make you co-host.
Okay. Can you give permission for sharing my screen?
Yeah, now you can. Yeah, before that, there is one more question.
Yeah.
Legumes like chole and tur dal need pressure cooker. What is the alternative for it?
You should not use pressure cooker. You have to take time and cook it. So to reduce the cooking time, what you can do is you can soak the. It's very important to soak the lentils, remove the water, and keep changing the water, especially for chole rajma. Keep changing water every 6 to 8 hours. Then finally, when you are cooking, you have to remove the foam on top of it. And to reduce the gas consumption, once it reaches the boiling point, you can keep in a insulation, like in my low carbon cooking classes, I take a cardboard box, I keep grass, I cover a cloth, make a cavity, and keep this container inside and cover that with one more bag filled with dry grass or rice husk or sawdust. So any grain will require temperature and time for cooking. So once you reach the boiling point on the gas, you just leave in this container and forget it. So it will, in the remaining time, it gets cooked. Even if you do this in the night, by morning it will be very hot also. Can you see my screen? Am I lost? Hello?
No, you are there. We can't see your screen.
Am I not sharing? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So this is raw tomato. We are not supposed to eat the skin of tomato. So I peeled the skin. I stuffed with salad dressing. So in that salad dressing, I have added some fermented carrot or fermented kimchi. Okay.
No, you peel the tomato.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I'm eating raw.
oh.
How to
I didn't know you can peel the tomato also.
or while eating you have to remove the skin separately.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not able to share my screen.
Yeah, we got your screen actually. You can read.
Acha, you are getting my screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no. Just now we lost it again. You share the screen again.
Acha, only one by one I'm getting. So this is my carrot kimchi. So I mixed with other raw salad and other stuff, and that's how I make a salad dressing. I make this as a stuff with my cucumber. Uh, I am not able to share my screen individually. I have to share my pictures.
Oh, share your desktop so that you whatever you open, you can see.
Okay, share Dropbox, Google Drive.
Oh, you are in a mobile?
Yeah.
Okay, then it will be different. Yeah, so people who joined Shailender Sga session first time in the YouTube, there are many videos of him. And even in naturalecoliving group itself, we completed around 3 meetups and 4 or 5 webinars. So there are a lot of information available online. And
So this is one variety. Like in cucumber, I have stuffed with sauerkraut. So that's how it will, like if you have only sauerkraut, it will be very sour. Like I don't make it very sour, but normally you may not enjoy while eating only sauerkraut. So if you mix with some vegetables, then it will be very nice. Yeah. So yeah, you may eat plain, but it will be a nice combination when you mix with other vegetables. Yeah. Any other?
yeah, We will take the questions from the participants.
Yeah, you can open up. Yeah.
Yeah, we are open. So, Venkatesh Garu, unmute yourself, sir. So, participants.
Okay, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Am I? Okay. This
I'm not able to
okra,
see. Huh.
you want to see me also?
Yes.
Not, I'm audible now.
Okay,
This
it's up to you. Yeah.
okra, okay, if you want, there is nothing wrong in it.
It will be an interaction. Huh.
Okay, am I audible and visible? I don't know what in Telangana it is called. Where will I get it? Is it a vegetable market or in some other place? What is it? Dr. Kondekar also mentioned about it. This okra, it's a completely new term for me. What is this? It looks like bendy or something.
Okra is bendakaya.
Oh,
Okra is bendakaya. Lady's finger.
Okay.
I think you have to off your video because your network issue is there. Better to hear your audio alone.
Okay. I will. That I have. Okay. Then this tomato skin you have to remove. You will be removing, and the seeds are to be removed for people who have got kidney stones. Then what will remain in that?
See,
Seeds also removed.
basically, nature has designed fruit. Fruit is a womb, like womb for the mother. Like fruit, if you see, tree will be holding the fruit. Fruit is a womb for the mother. Womb, like as your mother has a womb. So basically, tree is not giving you fruit. A tree is making a seed, preparing the seed inside that fruit. You are gifted with that fruit because you are helping that seed to propagate. And skin is there to protect. Skin is like a womb to protect that fruit. Fruit is protecting that seed. So not all in the nature is belong to us. We should not eat everything on the earth, but we try to eat everything. So
especially
fruit is
food.
for us. Seed is again for the soil. Skin again for the soil.
Food grains, they are all seeds only, na? All food grains, for that matter, rice, this korra,
That's
all
what
these
I'm
things are
telling.
seeds.
We are not meant to eat rice. We are meant to eat only fruits.
And vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables. Vegetables which come under that category. Again, carrot is not a vegetable. It's a root. We are not supposed to eat carrot or beetroot or any roots.
It is obtained by uprooting it and killing it, mostly, is it not?
Yes.
Probably Jains will not eat those things below ground.
Yes, even fruit also, if you touch, it should come to your hand.
Just without much force. Ripened fruits.
Yes.
Some saints they will take only when it falls, not even plucking.
Yes.
That is ahimsa vratam, something like that.
Yeah.
One thing in that Swami Sivananda used to be there, na, the Divine Life Society. Swami Sivananda. He has written a book on yoga sadhana. In that he says, completely give up salt. He himself was a doctor. Completely give up salt.
Definitely. That's what I explained now. What all health issues we are having with the salt. So if you are not ready for it, then for that reason I have developed this biosalt. Till you transition to the natural food. This is all like I'm not telling you to get accustomed with these things. So this is all for you to make till you get transition into natural food. So this is how you can balance.
In between, via between stage.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah. If I can conquer my tongue, I don't need salt, means I don't have to go about. Is it not?
So it's not just conquering the tongue, you also need the minerals also.
I see.
So you need to get that fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and mixed combination, so that integrated. I see.
Yeah, we'll go for a next question. Thank you, sir. So, Shailender, in the making of biosalt, how to clean the okra? I mean, just as a regular wash and then...
A very good question. So, I prefer normally organic okra or lady's finger. So, most of the okras are added with lot of pesticides. So, what you can do is you can soak the okra in water, add bioenzyme, soak it for 20-30 minutes and then clean it with fresh water. That will help to eliminate the superficial chemical sprays added on the top of the okra. but inside the chemicals which got through fertilizers and all, we can't do it. But because it's fermented process, microbial activity will help to break down.
Okay. So after washing, we need to allow it to dry and then cut.
Yeah. After washing, rinse it, and then dry. You can slit and add into the water.
Okay. No need of any waiting.
No, not required, because it's a wet process. We need not keep it dry.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take question of Sunita ji. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste, Shailender Sga, and thank you for this. I missed in the beginning your thing, but I will look at it again. I am a vegan, and I was asking about the kimchi and the sauerkraut. Do you actually do it yourself? Do you make your own
Yes.
sauerkraut and kimchi and kombucha?
Yeah. I make all my ferments. I have a special methods for fermenting.
Okay.
So I develop cultures. I develop lactic acid bacteria, and I use that bacteria to ferment my stuff.
Wow. Okay. Because I'm definitely interested in doing my own batch, but I wanted to know, where do we get the SCOBY? Is it necessary? So I'd love
So
to.
I don't recommend kombucha much, because I make much better than kombucha.
Really? What is that?
So what we call it?
I make ferments with jaggery arista and jaggery culture, which are more stable.
Oh.
And I make many things with that cultures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Suppose this is a drink made from citron.
Okay.
So
how is it more powerful? I mean, in the sense it's
it's not very acidic. Basically, I use them to preserve. I don't make it more acidic or vinegary. These ferments are like little mild sourness will be there, but not too sour as well.
Okay, so you recommend this rather than going for kombucha?
Yeah.
Okay, I will definitely want to know more about this, and I'll get in touch with you later.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Sudhir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So another last question here is how to make a starch from millets?
Starch from?
Millet rice.
Same, like how you cook the rice in excess water, millets also should be cooked in excess water and separate the starch.
So can I do the same thing from the millet grains, not the rice?
See, millet grains, if it is whole grain, it will you have to soak it. Preferably sprouting is good. So soaking is at least required. It's recommended. It's important. Then you can cook the millet as it is.
No, the full grain without any de-husking.
Yeah. See, we can't eat without de-husking. We have to remove the husk. That is very important.
Yeah, I understood. And my question is, can we make a starch without de-husking in millets?
See, starch, if you open up the husk, then only starches will come out. If you don't open up the husk, the starches will not release completely.
Okay, got it.
It will cook inside only.
Okay.
Like how you are making parboiled rice. You normally boil the paddy.
Okay.
Like that, if you are cooking whole millets without de-husking, you are making like something like parboiled rice.
Okay. So one more question is, does our body need minerals like shilajit and iris moss?
Very important. See, any Ayurveda is not required when you are getting fruits which are grown from a diversified environment. So all this Ayurveda has come into picture because we are not getting that diversified environment, and we are not getting that fruit grown in that environment. We are depending on the herbs which are growing around. But those herbs again should be naturally grown. But nowadays, Ayurveda is also having issues because the herbs should be obtained from that diversified region, like from the hills and places where they grow in diversity. If you just cultivate shilajit in acres and make medicine from it, it will not be that effective. Similarly, Panchagavya medicine. The cattle should eat diversified grasses, and that urine which is collected early morning before sunrise will have medicinal values. So if you just take any cow urine or any cows which grazed grass fed by yourself, not diversified, then that will not work. So it's very important to grow diversity. So if you are getting access to such food, you need not even take any Panchagavya or Ayurveda. So now, as a therapy, if you are making Shilajit, so in Ayurveda, there are various preparations. One is making kashayas. So all the kashayas, they extract the nutrient values. We need to, because there are many cellulose fiber, many lignans, and many other compounds which we can't digest. So we have to cook it. We have to process it. And in Ayurveda, we have arishtas and asavas that are more beneficial because we are adding life into it. Like suppose Shilajit, you extract the concoction and then ferment it. That will be more beneficial than the concoction of Shilajit.
Yeah. The last question, and we conclude this today's webinar. And yeah, we have many questions, and these all questions are already answered on different topics. Now, can we use bioenzyme to clean all vegetables and fruits? And what is the
if you are soaking your vegetables in bioenzymes, it can eliminate the superficial chemical sprays, because all the chemical sprays which they add on the vegetables are oil based, basically petroleum oil, mineral oils. So these bioenzymes are acidic by nature. So when you soak them in this bioenzyme, or it can be ash, alkaline water made from wood ash, then it will disintegrate the oil stuff on the top of the vegetable. So by soaking for half an hour, that would be enough. Then you can clean with regular water. So vinegars are used, but vinegars will not have life. It should not be synthetic vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, yes, it will help, but bioenzymes have life. Vinegars, normally the store-bought vinegars are only acidic, which will not have life. You can use tamarind water also. You can use tamarind soaked water and soak your vegetables and clean it. But you have to do some preparations for it. So you can also make bioenzyme from tamarind. Like you can store tamarind in water and add culture and preserve that liquid, and you can add that also for cleaning. Similarly with citric lemon peels also.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. We need to try that tamarind culture. Yeah. So now the question here is, what is the proportion of the bioenzyme to add? 1:10?
So you can add 30 ml in 1 liter of water and store for half an hour.
Okay.
Soak for half an hour.
Okay. Even greens?
Grains, see, for grains, what we are doing is we can,
leaf
for
vegetables.
washing. Yes, we can soak the grains in water. But for grains, I prefer to use edible bioenzyme, which is made in glass bottle. So then soak your grains in that bioenzyme, edible enzyme, and then you can rinse. That would be enough.
What about the leafy vegetables?
Yeah, same. Leafy vegetables also, you can soak in water, add bioenzyme, and then clean it with fresh water. Many people cut the vegetables and then they will wash it. If you do that, you are losing the nutrients. You're not supposed to clean your vegetables after cutting. So first wash it or soak it with bioenzyme, then rinse it well, then cut your vegetables.
Okay. So for green leaves, so you suggest use edible enzyme.
Yeah. For any vegetables, edible enzymes are preferably better.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all. With this, we conclude today's webinar. And I know there are many questions, and having webinar with Shailender Sga, problem is the topic will never end. Subject is such that it will keep on continuing. It will keep on more interactive and more interesting. Yeah. Yes. Time is running out, and we conclude today's webinar. Thank you all.
You can share the edible enzyme link so that if they have any questions, they can ask.
Yeah, sure. We'll share the Telegram group link in the NELG group. Yeah. Thank you all.